Hey guys, I'm Teresa Harding, and this is week 4, mission 3. You guys are in the home stretch. Keep it up. We have something really exciting today, and then a special treat for you the last couple of days of the week. Your mission today, should you choose to accept it, is to learn how to do a strategy session. This is something that you do with your leaders, and I want you to start doing them with your leaders right away. You are not being paid to be a counselor. When you do this strategy session, you'll have leaders who are tempted to kind of go over their failures for the week and get all emotional and talk about why life is so hard or why they're not doing a good job in their business or why they can't be successful. You guys, there's a time and a place for this, and we want to be there for them, but not during your strategy session. This is something where you tell them, look, I want to do a friend call with you, but let's do that after hours today. Right now we're doing our strategy session. You need to be real honest with them about this, because you know what? You can only be a cheerleader for so long. And you know what? You are not equipped. You are not trained to be a counselor. And it can become really heavy for people. It gets really heavy for you. It can get to the point where your business isn't as fun because your strategy sessions are kind of downers. But realize that's because you've allowed it to be that way. So don't let it get that way. The strategy session is exciting, it's fun, and it's your one time where you get to connect with them for the week in a really powerful way. You can be their cheerleader, but if that's all you're doing, guess what? They're not going to be able to accomplish anything. They are quickly going to see that you're not someone who can help them move toward what they're trying to do in their life and with their dreams and with their vision. So you can be their friend, but not on the strategy calls. If they try to get emotional, if they try to kind of go down that route, you just tell them, hey, we're going to talk after hours, but for right now we're doing this. If someone comes to a strategy session and they leave with actionable items, if they know that when they come to you every week, they leave with powerful things that is not overwhelming, but they're going, oh my goodness, this is somebody I can rely on. This is somebody who's going to be able to help me. What's depressing is always talking and never ever getting anything done. Have you ever had somebody who is saying they're going to guide you through the process of doing something, and there's all this talk, and it might even be exciting and fun and motivating, but the reality is you don't really ever get anything done. You don't really ever learn anything that takes you through the next step of the process. Okay, so it's important that you're the kind of person that helps your people make sure they leave with actionable items. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So one of the things I also see with leaders in doTERRA is, let's say if I'm the upline will work with the downline. I'll train my downline for 15 minutes. Then we get their downline on the call and we work with them for 15 minutes. Then they get their downline on the call and then we work with them for 15 minutes. Well, guess who's doing all the training? And am I helping my leaders have wings to fly? No, they're just relying on me. I'm the one who's needed. We need to help each person learn how to train their team. And guess what? This strategy session is super simple, super fun, and it's crazy. You're going to see that we get results. Okay, it's actually the easiest thing we have ever done. You want to know what we used to do? What we used to do is we made sure we had a daily call with our qualifying leaders, the leaders who really wanted to build quickly, because we felt like, wow, they need support. They need to make sure that we're there for them. But guess what? We found that that's not necessary. Of course, you'll be texting them throughout the week, or if they have a question, they can call you or whatever, but you don't have to have a designated call. This is so much more simple, so much more, gives you so much more time freedom, which you know is one of our goals. So what would happen is if somebody said they wanted to build a business, we would support, we would suggest, we would give assignments, we would try to let them be part of the decision-making process or the creative process. We would try to do whatever we could to help them to make sure they felt supported so that they could do what they wanted to do. And guess what? Over and over, we would have people who wouldn't really do much. They would say they want to build and they didn't do anything. Or they would commit to certain things and then nothing would happen. And you would wonder and wonder, okay, am I not being clear? Am I not being supportive enough? What do they need? Do they need more of this? It was frustrating, you guys. It gets to the point where you're like, wow, you want to blame them, but you want to be a humble leader. You want to figure out what to do better. So the awesome thing is you guys can learn from all of our experience, all of our mistakes, and I'm going to show you exactly what to do. So, and I will tell you this, when we started doing this, it was unbelievable. The things that you will get out of your leaders, they will accomplish more and do more on their own than they ever did when you were trying to help them get like get something done. You kept trying to kind of guide them. I'm telling you, watch what happens. And what's interesting is you'll see they actually choose it on their own, and the choices they make create way more action than anything that we ever would tell them on their own, like when we would guide them through the process, okay? So there are 3 things that they need to come to the strategy session with. We're leaving the links for you here, and we're also going to make sure that they're in the worksheet so that you have everything you need. They're also on my website, teresaharding.com, in the resources section. For those of you who are not familiar with that area, go check it out. The resources section in my website, teresaharding.com. In the resources section, click business. And in business, you'll see a whole list of different things. You have worksheets and handouts. You have, a whole bunch of different options. So I want you to go check those out. Most of what you're going to find that you're going to want and that you're going to need is in the worksheets and handouts. And that's where all 3 of these things are. Okay. So the first thing that you're going to need is the rank diagram chart. It has blue circles on it. We have other rank diagram charts that are just white. They don't have any color. It's just so that people can, like if you're trying to hit silver, let's say, it will have you at a circle at the top and have 3 circles underneath, just so you can hang those up, kind of keep track of who your qualifying leaders are. And that can be helpful if you're just trying to do something basic with figuring things on your team. But for the strategy session, you need the one with the blue circles, because what happens is your leader needs to fill that out before they even come. Okay, so if they come to your strategy session, it's already filled out. Not only does it tell who the leaders are in each of those circles for the rank that they are trying to hit, it will also have a list of whether that leader is a C, a CC, or neither. So if it's committed and capable, or just one of those, or neither, it will tell you what the volume on that person's team is for that week. It gives you quite a bit of information, but it's still super simple. So what happens is, if I've got somebody who is just like, they just want to be a sharer, they're not kind of a more driven, serious builder right away, then I might, like the very first time, you can help them fill all this stuff out and let them know from now on, come to this meeting with these all filled out. So if it's a sharer or someone who is building less, or just, very, very minimally, I'll work it out with them the first session. All right. But if it's a really driven builder who is, crazy, totally wants to go, I need to help them feel right from the start. Like, dude, I totally trust you. Give them enough information so it doesn't feel overwhelming, but kind of guide them through the process. So maybe even on the phone, you're saying, okay, you need to fill this out, and there are 3 pieces of information you need. You need to put the leaders' names, you need to put committed or capable, and you describe what that means, and then let them decide and fill out the form on their own, and then show them where to find the volume, how much volume is under each of those people. If you don't know how to do it, that's okay. Be working with your upline leader. There are videos on doterra.com that teach you how to find that information. That's beyond the scope of what we're doing in this 30-day challenge, but there are absolutely resources that you can use. So don't let yourself use the excuse that, well, nobody's helping me. Well, I can't find it. I don't know where to go find it. You guys are awesome. You already took on this 30-day challenge. There's a reason you're the people who made it to the end. You can find it. You can do it. Whatever you need, go after it. All right. So they're going to fill that out before they come. Then the second thing they need is called a weekly strategy worksheet. And those are also on teresaharding.com. Of course, they'll be within this challenge, but when the challenge disappears, just know that you can go find it there always. Those won't disappear on my website, and get the simplified version. Now, there is a weekly strategy worksheet for the upline. There's a weekly strategy worksheet for the downline. So if I am doing a strategy session with my downline, I make sure they have printed off the downline, and I have the one that says upline in front of me. And it's really awesome because, you guys, we have written out there was a group of people on my team who created this. It's phenomenal. And you just follow down the line. It even tells you exactly what questions to ask. On your paper as the upline, it tells you what questions to ask. On their paper, it doesn't show them what questions you are going to ask them. Okay? So make sure that, you give them the right one, and you just follow the sheet. Makes it super simple. The third thing you're going to need is what's called the builder worksheet. That also is on that chart, is on my website. And the builder worksheet has some green coloring on it, and there are some copies of it that don't have the green, that are just more simple. I like the ones with the green because they're easier to follow. And what that sheet is going to do is going to walk them through the process of which in order to hit the rank they're trying to hit, like let's say they're trying to hit silver, they need 3 legs that are elite, which is 3,000 points of volume. If they're trying to hit silver, then they write down the titles of the people in each of those groups. And guess what? So if my 3 leaders are Sarah, Karen, and Jim, then underneath Sarah, it tells me, okay, what classes, how many classes do you need to have in order to get this volume? And they break it down and it makes it really simple. So the builder worksheet is awesome to use for builders who are trying to be a little more assertive or builders who want to build a little bit faster. You don't have to have the builder worksheet for a sharer or someone who is less aggressive at building, but it doesn't hurt because they choose how many classes they want to have. They can decide. Okay, so have all 3 of those ready. And again, they need to come with all 3 of these completely filled out. Now, if there's any part left that's not filled out, it will be the step 5 of the weekly strategy worksheet. And we'll get to that in just a minute. So step 1 of the weekly strategy worksheet, well, first in the strategy session, what you're going to do is you're going to look at their team. They're going to look at the rank chart, go over that, see what needs to happen there. Look if you might need to talk about, well, we need to transfer someone in, or we need to find more builders under this team, or whatever. So you're kind of going over the team just a little bit. That's the shortest part of your time usually, unless you're dealing with some issues that you've got to fix, okay? Then you're going to go to the weekly strategy worksheet, okay? The builder worksheet is last. Now, in the weekly strategy worksheet, step 1, you're going to say, tell me about your work, your week. Tell me about your family. You'll kind of connect with them just for a short period of time. Start with the positives. You say, what's the best thing? And again, these questions are right on there. What's the best thing that happened with your business this week? Okay, so what's the most frustrating thing that happened with your business this week? And it was so funny. I was talking with one of my leaders and we ended up getting it mixed up. And so we ended up talking about the worst thing first. So she said, she was kind of frustrated. She said, this last week has been awful. I don't have anything exciting happening. It doesn't seem like anyone's interested. She was just really discouraged. And this is someone who's not usually discouraged. So I was pretty surprised. I thought, she's had a tough week. And so we kind of talked about that a little bit. She talked about that. Not complaining, but just letting me know. Then I said, okay, so tell me what is the best thing that happened with your business this week? And she thought about it. She said, well, this one gentleman, I've been sharing the oils with him at work and he really wants to try the deep blue. I think he had tried it and he had an amazing experience and it was awesome. He loved it and he wanted to get some. And then she went to some other event and this girl that she had known for a while and she talked about the oils to this girl before quite some time ago. They reconnected and her friend said, oh my goodness, I totally want some oils. There were 3 experiences that week where she had people totally wanting the oils. And yet if she was thinking of an overview, she was thinking, it wasn't a great week. But then as we were talking more, she started realizing and she started laughing and she said, well, wait, I guess I had a pretty good week. Because honestly, you guys, sometimes life is hard. The week was just hard. And so this is really powerful because it brings them to a point where they kind of have to point out and remember, okay, what are the good things? What are the things that were frustrating that I need to work on? So it's really powerful. Now, so do that, do the connection, just, make that quick. And then you guys then go into the charts, and some people will have all this information on their team. We have had people on my team who will come and they'll have graphs and Excel spreadsheets and crazy information, which that's fine. But we absolutely don't need that. We keep it as simple as we can. For people who love that, great, they can bring those in. But step 2, so the step 1 is connect. Step 2, and by the way, you're guided through the process in the weekly strategy worksheet. Step 2, you're going to review their goals or their priorities from the week before. Step 3, you're going to set the goals, and it's they set their 30, 60, 90-day goals. So if they're trying to hit a rank or if they're trying to give so many samples, whatever that goal is, they're going to try to go for that goal and they'll write them down. They just write them down. But the most powerful part of this is step 5. Okay, step 4, they're going to review the process. They're whatever ongoing trainings they're involved in, they're going to take care of any of that stuff. Go over that with you, make sure that you know exactly what's going on. You're going to ask them questions about the things that you've been working on with them. And then you're going to review the business builder worksheet in at whatever time it works in this process, which is going to be talking about which classes you need to have, who the hostess is going to be, those kinds of things. So you'll go through all of that, and then this is my favorite part of the strategy session, and this is the part that will make all the difference for your leaders, because those other things you go through them pretty quickly. Now they know what needs to happen. They've got their plan for the week, and now this is the most important part. So step 5 is you're going to identify top priorities or action items that they need to do for that week. Okay, so it looks like this. Hey Karen, can you think of 3 things, just 3 things, that if you got done next week, these 3 things, it will make the most difference in your business. You would feel like, dang, I had a great week with my business. 3 top priorities. So give me the first priority. And then you let Karen tell you what her top priority is. What would that answer look like? For every leader, it's going to be something different. Sometimes usually all 3 of the goals or priorities that they select are doTERRA related to their business. But sometimes they pick one that doesn't seem related to you, but I am telling you, let them pick their goals. Because remember, your question was, what are the 3 priorities that you feel like if you got those done this week, it would make the most difference in your business? You'd think, dang, that was a great week for my business. You mentioned that. Now they're going to make sure they get things out of the way. So for example, we had somebody on our team, one of my leaders was doing a strategy session with this girl, and she's amazing. She signs people up like crazy. She was awesome. And she was doing the strategy session. Her upline leader said, okay, so tell me, what's your first priority that you feel like is most important to do this week for your business? And she stopped and she thought, and she said, you know what? I got to get my taxes done. I can't even think about anything else. I'm stressed out. I can't even deal with anything else until I get my taxes done. Well, you might be tempted to go, no, that's not your business. Well, obviously taxes are part of a business, but it doesn't feel like you're getting action items done to build your doTERRA business. But you know what? That's their choice. And so as they went through the process, then what you're going to do is after they say the first goal or priority is say, okay, so what are the 3 action items that you need to do to make sure that happens by the end of the week? So for example, for the taxes, the first thing she said, okay, I guess I better gather everything. I need to just pull everything out and make it just a big mess. So then she writes on her paper, and you're writing on your paper, make a mess. And she said, and then the next question is, okay, so when do you want to have that done by? And she picks the deadline, and she writes it in, and you write it in. And remember that you're guided through the entire process. You just follow the sheet, and don't skip items, okay? Then you say, okay, so what's the second action item that has to happen in order for you to get your taxes done this week? And she stopped and thought about it. She said, well, I guess then I better kind of put it into categories, like get everything in categories so that they're in specific piles, and I've split it up. I know exactly where they go, and it's all organized. Okay, organize the piles. And so we're both writing it down. Okay, when do you want to have that done by? She might say, I better have that done by Wednesday if I'm going to have all this done by the end of the week. Then so the next question was, okay, what's the third action item that needs to happen for you to make sure that you get this done by the end of the week? She said, and the beauty of it is you can be a little bit sassy because they said they wanted to do this. You're like, hey, you want to do that? I'm going to help you. What needs to happen? What can I do? By the way, after each action item, and again, it will remind you on your sheet to say this. You ask them the deadline. Okay, when do you want to have this done by? And they say whatever the deadline is. Oh, by Tuesday. And you say, okay, so is there anything I can do to help? Is there anything you need from me? Well, guess what? Most of the time, your leaders will say no. Sometimes they'll say, I need you to help teach that class, or I need you to get on a 3-way call with me. But honestly, what's shocking to me still is every time we do a strategy session, how much of their action items they say, no, I don't really need anything. You know what? Just text me. Text me on Thursday by 2:00. If I haven't done it, I need to do it right now, right then. So it's amazing. So you are going to do that 3 times. You're going to ask them, what's your first goal or priority for this week that you feel like is the most important thing? And then you're going to go through 3 action items. Now, some things are so difficult to find 3 action items. So for example, if they say, well, I need to call, Jennifer keeps saying that she wants to do a class with me. I need to call Jennifer and get that set up. And you say, okay, Awesome. Okay, so what's the first action item that you feel like you need to do to make sure that happens this week? And they're going, I just need to call Jennifer and set it up. There's only one thing. No, part of what makes this work is they have to have 3 action items. I'm not going to go into psychology right now, but I will tell you this. Part of the reason that people never called Jennifer, they've been waiting to call Jennifer for weeks, knowing that Jennifer said she would do a class, is because each of the pieces are too big. So no matter what it is, and it's weird, the taxes, that was a huge job, and each of the 3 action items was kind of huge. But the funny thing is, when you break it up into 3 pieces like that, people actually do it. It feels doable. It doesn't feel overwhelming. And so if they say, well, I need to do this class with Jennifer, I need to call her. If they don't know what to do with the action item, they say, well, it's just 1. I say, well, we need it. It's best if we have 3. This actually works. The strategy session works so much more effectively if we do 3 for every single one. So even if they seem silly. So notice I'm preparing them to not feel awkward. I say, even if they seem silly, let's do 3. So for example, now I'll say, for example, because they don't know what to say and they feel kind of funny. They don't know if they're going to get the answer right. So I'll say, so for example, do you have Jennifer's phone number? They might say yes. I say, okay, so first, maybe you need to schedule time to call her. Like put it on the calendar that you are going to call her. And so even if they act a little funny, like, oh, that's too easy. I say, yeah, I know, it's simple, but just write that down. Okay, so when do you want to have that done by? And they're like, well, I can have that done by, in 5 minutes from now. Say, okay, great. So, by 12:05 or whatever. Then I say, okay, so what's the second action item? And now they've got the hang of it, and they go, well, I guess I need to actually call her. I'll call her. Right. Okay. So call her. When do you want to have that done by? I need to call her by Thursday. Okay. Awesome. And then what's the third action item? They go, I don't know. I guess that's all. Or they get the hang of it usually, but if they have a hard time, help them out. I'll say, so choose a date, get it on the calendar. And they say, yeah. Okay. So make sure they have 3 action items for every single goal. And it's crazy, you guys. The leader on my team who chose to do her taxes, think about this. Doing your taxes in 1 week is a pretty big job. But not only did she pick to do her taxes, then she had 2 other items that she wanted to complete for her doTERRA business. I am telling you, you would not believe the goals people come up with. It's something they want to do, and you end up, by the time you're done, most of the time I'm going, oh my goodness, that is more assignments than I ever would have given them in 1 week. It's seriously amazing. So take every advantage of this, make it fun, but don't hesitate to be a little bit, I want to say bossy, but in a fun, positive way. Like, dude, you have got this, and I am going to help make sure you succeed. That kind of a bossy way. Okay. Now, after you're all done filling those out, they've given the deadlines, right? Now, before you're done, you both need to put all of those items in the calendar. So, for example, even if they needed nothing from you, you put their item in the calendar and their deadline, because there is no better way to help create accountability for them. How do you think you're going to help them be accountable throughout the entire week, even on items that they said they didn't need your help? Well, guess what? If I'm texting them, they said they were going to have it done by Thursday night. I'm texting them at 8 o'clock on Thursday, or if you're ending at 5 or whatever the situation is, I'm texting them at 8 o'clock going, hey, did you get that done? And then guess what? They either say yes, and guess what they feel like? Wow, she cares so much about me. I can't believe she remembered that. Okay, so that's huge. Or they'll go, oh my goodness, I totally forgot. Thank you so much. I'm going to do that right now. It's crazy. And they feel totally supported. And honestly, a lot of times it's just a text. And you guys, the text, that's super quick. 3 texts in the week. It's 3 texts. And guess what? Now you've got, it's 10, 15 seconds each. And even if you've got to do a text for all 3 of the action items for each of the 3 goals, guess what? That's 9 texts. Now, so sometimes people will ask for your help. Sometimes they won't. You just work that out. Sometimes I have a leader who tries to ask for way too much help, and I don't have that much free time. I don't have that much time to put into what she's asking of me. If she wants me to do she has 5 classes that week, and she wants me to help do all 5 classes, it's most likely I'm going to say, oh my goodness, I'll be there for the first one. We'll do this. Then the second one, I'll kind of team teach. I'll help you, and then you'll do the rest of it, and I'll be there to help. I'll stay after at the end, but I'm not going to be able to go to the other ones. So we'll do the first two, or whatever my schedule actually is, whatever really works. Okay. This is a really, really easy way of holding your team accountable. And you guys, if all you're ever doing is saying, good job, good job, good job, you're doing great. If we never create a plan, if we never have a strategy, will they really ever feel like you can help them? And the cool thing is, it doesn't matter if you're brand new in doTERRA and you don't really know what you're doing yet. It doesn't matter if you've been around for forever. You let them choose their goals. And if you're brand new, you're figuring things out together and you're starting to realize, okay, we've got to do this. And you guys, you just went through the 30-day challenge. You know exactly what needs to be happening. You know you need to be sampling, you know you need to be inviting, and you know you need to be teaching people about the oils and helping them enroll, helping them use them, doing the wellness consult. You know exactly what to do. And now all you have to do is refer back to your fast track training and review anytime that you need. Now, I'm going to give you a few tips about the strategy session. Number one, Monday mornings are a really good time to do it. And the reason is because it's at the beginning of the week. Now they've got all week to finish it off. And it's also really good to do it back to back. If you do them back to back, then guess what? If they come in late, if it's also easier to get off the call because you're going, okay, I've got my next strategy session. I've got to get off. We've got 3 more minutes. It helps keep everything on track. Now, for a full-time builder, you're going to do an hour. If it's a part-time builder, take a half hour with that builder. But the reality is you can get them all done quickly. If you do them every couple of hours or 2 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, what happens is you end up feeling like the entire week, like you never get a break. If you do them all Monday morning, now your leaders are out doing their thing. They're texting you if they have questions, and they feel supported the entire week. And now you're free to work on the things that you need to work on to grow your own business as well. Now, if you have leaders that aren't really going to listen to you because you haven't really been there for them, or they don't really feel like you have a lot to offer them right now because you haven't been giving them much value, then this is what I'm going to suggest for you. I want you to tell them, hey, I just went through this training. It was awesome. I can't believe how much I learned. And what I want to do is I really want to set up a time with you to every week so that I can share with you all the information that I've learned. They'll say yes, you guys. Then through those calls, all you have to do is teach them what you learned, but then say, can we have these weekly strategy sessions? Let's do these weekly strategy sessions. And you guys, every person that is either sharing or building on your team should have one of these. Now, should you be doing them for all of your qualifying legs and then their front line and their front line and their front line? No. We've got it so simple. Anybody can do it. All you have to do is follow along on the sheet and ask the questions that it says to ask. So start having your leaders do it too. And then if I'm brand new and I've got my my downline working on it with their leaders, then guess what? I'm talking on the phone with my downline. I'm saying, oh my goodness, we're new, we're figuring this out. So how did your strategy session go? And they say, well, I forgot this, or I didn't know what to say. You're like, oh my goodness, I know, I totally did that. So that's okay. We're going to get better. It's totally fun. You just figure it out together. Now, don't forget, you guys, to send in your video so that you can get your free t-shirt. You're going to love these t-shirts. And in order to get one, remember, you send in a video that answers the questions in your workbook that is asking questions about your experience with this training. So that's really going to help us to help other people. It's going to help us to see some of your successes. I'm really excited to see your story, and I want to hear where you also broke through limiting beliefs or some things that you up-leveled in your skills. That's super exciting to me. So don't forget also to comment in the community. I want to hear your failures. I want to hear your successes. I do see them. I do hear them, and it's super exciting for me to see that. So you guys, we have been together for almost 30 days. Actually, it's been 30 days now, but with the belief week, it goes a little bit longer. So I think it's like 34 days. So you guys are awesome. We're almost done, home stretch, and I will be watching as you guys are sharing with me some of the things that you've shared. And with the videos, one of the things I'm going to do is we're going to go through the videos, and the ones that we feel like you guys, they do not need to be professional. That's not what we're looking for. What I'm looking for is heartfelt. I want to see what you learned, where you progressed, what what you found out about yourself through this whole challenge. And we're going to be going through those videos, and I'm going to pick some to be winners for special prizes. So submit your videos. Don't forget to do that. And don't forget to give each other virtual high fives. And I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, I have a really exciting thing to share with you guys tomorrow and Friday. So make sure you come back.